Right, guys, welcome back to the Dead Hedgehogs podcast with myself, Chris, and I've got Peter Cassidy here. And today's very special guest is the new WBO NABO champion of the world, Donegal's finest, Jason Quigley. Jason, thanks for coming on to the podcast, mate.
Thanks very much for having me. It's a pleasure, lad. Thank you.
Look, the fight highlights on YouTube there on Sunday. Didn't wait up until 5 o'clock in the morning for you. Sorry, mate.
That's it. I'm out of here.
But yeah, like it was what you had some war. It was class. It was brilliant to watch. How are you feeling after?
It was like a man from Donegal trying to steal another man's turf out in the bog. The two of us just went at us, so we didn't.
Yeah. You got stuck into it, like.
But I was watching it there. It had everything, though. It had everything for a boxer fan. You were fighting on the inside. You were fighting on the outside. You were going fucking toe to toe. It was all in, like. It was all in. It was.
Then in the later rounds, you really started moving. You decided to do the alley shuffle. You're floating about the place. Yes. Like you really did mix it up, like.
I had the fans were back in. The crowds were there. It was time to put on a show. I gave everyone a little bit of everything to enjoy on the night, and thank God it didn't backfire and it all worked out as planned.
Oh, it was great. It's great. You got on your bike at the 7th round. You started moving a bit. You started boxing more than fighting, go to say. What was that a conscious decision, or did that just happen, or was that the corner telling you to?
It kind of just happened for me, you know. I felt as if I was winning the fight. You know, I felt as if I was ahead, but I wasn't really kind of being me. I wasn't kind of feeling my own flow. Like I wasn't kind of enjoying it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that I do enjoy getting punched in the face, like, but you know, I wasn't enjoying it to the best that I could, and I wasn't feeling the flow and the rhythm in my game, and I just kind of mixed it up a little bit, got up and just started bouncing about, getting a rhythm, getting a flow going. And it started to feel good, you know, like I started to feel like, you know, this is me now. And everything started going well and things started working off that. So I kind of just kept mixing it up as well, because Shane Mosely, you know, he's a great fighter. He's a smart fighter. And I needed to keep mixing up the game plan to keep him thinking. I couldn't let him get used to me and start reading me, you know, and then start counteracting what I was doing. So that was why, you know, I was 1 minute I have the hands up, I was going forward. Next minute I'd have the hand down, I'm moving around. And next minute I'd kind of be just in the middle distance, not too close, not too far. And look, it worked out well. And that was one of the game plans going in, giving him different looks throughout the fight. So to keep him thinking, to not let him get into his flow and not let him get settled in the fight.
Like your fight, his fight. Were you shitting it? Were you shitting it when the first judge said, what did he say, 95 to 95 or something? Was it? I see your face. I was just
your face told a major story there. You're like, hold on a second.
So, like, I felt as if I won the fight. Whenever I heard 95, I was like, right, I'm an Irish lad in Las Vegas. Yeah. He's an American in America. He's living in Vegas. He fights out of Vegas. He his father, Shane Mosely Jr, the legend of boxing. I was like, is that all going to sway in his favor? And then when I heard 97, 93, I was like, that sounds more like, you know, to me. If it was kind of maybe 97, 96, you know, a bit closer, I would have worried a wee bit more. But once I heard the wide score, I was like, at least one of them has a bit of sense.
Yeah, and boxing is renowned for its dodgy decisions. Like, especially what you're saying there, your man is, you know, hometown. Like if you were playing a game of football and the Donegal boys were, you know, it was touch and go, you'd give it to the Donegal boys if you're playing in Ballybuffet or someplace. You know what I mean?
It's a rough place to get out.
100%, like, you know, and that is the thing about boxing. And you know, there's a great thing in boxing that never leave it in the hands of the judges. Always try and knock them out, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you're guaranteed victory, is if you leave the man sleeping. So obviously I didn't get to do that, so I did have to put it in the hands of the judges. And look, thankfully they seen the fight the way that they did, and you know, I came away victorious on the night.
Like there's a part in that last exchange where you can actually see that as you're getting into the grips of that last 10 seconds, there's a wry smile in there as you turn those last couple of punches. You're like, this is actually, this, I'm made for this. This is the one for me. Like,
yeah, there's a madness in us boxers. Like there has to be a screw loose somewhere with us, like, to get into the ring and just enjoy getting slaps and giving slaps. Like, it's there definitely has to be a screw gone there somewhere. But no, I definitely enjoy it and I love it. And you know, I knew the fight could have been a bit close, so that was the reason why I dug so deep, and you know, I went hell for leather in the last round, because I wanted to show everyone and to show the judges, most importantly, that I wanted it more. If it came down to, they're like, oh geez, you know, who are we going to give it to here? Quigley showed that he wanted it more. That's what I wanted to show, and I think I did do that then in the last round.
Yeah, and your reception then back at home in Donegal after is, like, obviously we've all seen on social media, and you've spoken about the reception after on a few different radio shows and stuff like this. That must mean so much after the effort that's gone in. Like.
It really was unbelievable, and the reason why it was so amazing was because it meant so much to so many people.
Yeah.
Like the year and a half that we've all had, like the towns around the country have been empty. Anytime you meet somebody, it's a sad story about COVID, about cases, about this one and that one, and you know, it was such a lift for everyone. And for me, I didn't feel it. I felt it as an excitement, as a buzz. I was hanging out the window, hey, you know. I was on a bit of a buzz from it, but the parade of cars that were behind me and that were in the parade, they whenever we stopped off at the end, you know, the amount of people that came up to me and was like, that was so emotional.
Yeah,
this is like, to see people out on the streets again, to see people cheering, roaring, laughing, smiling. It was just so great to see, because you had kids from national schools. You had middle-aged people just happy to be out support. You had elderly people happy to be out support. You had businesses, businesses that weren't even open yet again, outside their business, you know, waving, saying hello, congratulations. It really was a brilliant time just for everybody, like not just me, you know what I mean? It was a brilliant time for everyone to just have a buzz again, you know, to have something to laugh about and cheer about, and you know, put a smile on the faces again.
100%.
We're small town lads ourselves, so we like there's something about it being special when it's one of your own. And we can
without a doubt. Like, and I think, you know, small towns celebrate even more so as well, because like they see me every day going down to the shop to get milk when he's fighting again. And, you know what I mean? And the takeaways, they mightn't see me for about 3 months because I'm making weight. So they're saying, where's he gone here? He must have a fight coming up. You know, like in a small town, everybody knows everything and everybody knows what's going on as well. So it's great that, you know, it's great in that sense that everyone gets behind you. Everyone knows the effort and the time that you put in. They see me up early in the morning out running. You know what I mean? Like it's a real kind of team effort, really. You know.
Of course. Yeah, we had one of your former teammates, Ray Moylet, on the podcast a couple of months ago, and obviously he's still making those progressions into the professional game and racking up the wins to, you know, get himself up rankings and stuff like that. And he was saying the very same thing, that, you know, being at home and in a small town and stuff like that, that that local support is everything to him. Like,
yeah, and Ray's a very much a home bird, the same as myself. We love where we come from, and we love, no matter where we go in the world, we're always happy to go back. And me and Ray have been in some dodgy parts of the world together. And, we've been happy. We've always been happy to get back home again. Like, but no, Ray has been a teammate of mine for years. But most importantly, Ray's a great friend of mine that I have met throughout boxing, and he's a top lad. And there's some great stories, through the years. Through
this is the place to tell them, man.
I don't know about that.
You might get arrested.
But no, there's Ray's just been. Me and him we've been through it all together as well. We've been through the ups, we've been through the downs. We've shared rooms in the middle, the shitholes of Kazakhstan and Lithuania, and no matter where we went in the world, like for boxing trips, we've always seemed to have gotten the roughest of the rough, like
he was telling us some gnarly stories from like South America and former Soviet bloc countries that you'd be
shocked, like, you know what I mean, like you just think you've gone back in time sometimes, especially over the likes of Ukraine and Lithuania and places like that, into the cities of like Kiev in Ukraine, absolutely beautiful, some lovely buildings, places like that. Vilnius in Lithuania, the capital, very nice, lovely. But we were always a couple hours outside the city, and you would see a donkey and a farmer out ploughing the fields, like, and you'd be like, what's going on here? Like, this is madness, like, you know what I mean? So it's but the best of experiences you could ever have, you know what I mean? Like, they're ones you look back on now, and you don't even remember how you done at the tournament, so you don't even remember how you got on. Like, you just remember the crack you had. That's what it's all about. That's the aim of it. That's the aim, and that's what you want to come away with. You want to come away with good memories, not like, oh God, I didn't win this or I did win this. You come away with, Jesus, that was some crack. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's Cowboy's just trying to jump in here for a second. Let's see.
Deadly.
He's back from his charity cycle with about 100 women. So that's why he was late.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's not walking like John Wayne.
He could be.
Cowboy, you there?
Are you well?
What's the crack?
Well,
thanks, lads.
It's Bin Laden.
He's up in the hills of Donegal.
He's back.
There you are. What is the crack?
I
am here.
You're flat out riding today.
Right, well, look, it's not my first rodeo.
Oh Jesus!
I just wanted to check in, Jason, and I wanted to say congratulations on the win. Great fight.
I appreciate it, buddy. Thanks very much. Thank you, and all the very best to you today out in with the charity race and everything like that. There, the cycling. Fair play to you, good man.
It's funny how a bunch of women can make him very keen on cycling.
It was either the women or you, Jason, and there's only one winner.
I'll side with you on that every day of the week.
Right. Listen, I'll bounce again because I'm sure the reception isn't great here, but enjoy the podcast and we'll catch up again. We'll have pints sometime.
100%, buddy. Take it easy and all the best. Good man.
All right.
Take it easy, Cowboy. Good luck.
There, Cowboy. Yeah, the man's he's a fucking lunatic.
He's a lunatic. Yeah, lunatic. I was going to get another question there for you, Jason. I was trying to think of it there. You mentioned the visualization. Did that play a major part in you said, I think I read somewhere you weren't bothered in it at first, but then you changed your tune. You were more into it. Can you explain about the visualization and how it worked or anything like that?
I only started to believe it after they called me out in the water.
No way.
Jesus, this stuff works.
You're honest.
No. I have been doing it for a while now. I have been just, I've been doing it for a couple of years and really trying to. I work with Jerry Hussey, who's a good friend of mine and also a good friend of Ray Moylet's. He was our sports psychologist on the Irish national team whenever we were younger and through the ranks into the senior level as well. So I'm actually very good friends now with Jerry. I lived with Jerry and everything for a while, so I did. And, Jerry has really showed me, him and his wife, Miriam, have really showed me a new way of looking at life, a new way of looking at things, a new way of, just kind of rewiring the brain in terms of the way that you think, the way that you approach things, the way that you look at life in general. And it's a mixture of all that there that comes together, and that helps every aspect of your life. But visualization, meditating, affirmations, yoga, I've been tapping into all of it, and it has really helped me, obviously in my career in boxing, but it has helped me, massively outside of my career in boxing as well. It has really helped me personally also. And, I wake up every day now looking forward to life and looking forward to the day that's ahead of me and the people that's in my life, the people that I love. And, whereas before, I mightn't have always been that positive person and I mightn't have wanted to get out of my bed in the morning. I would have wanted to sleep and just lie on because I didn't want to waking up to whatever's going on in my head and whatever I have to deal with for the day. But all that, I think we have to go through these type of things for us to realize how good the good things are.
Yeah.
But one of the key things for me is living here. Just kind of living in a nice balance. Whenever, obviously now everyone thinks, geez, Quigley must be in some high. He's out in Vegas. He's won a fight. He's flying. He's on top of the world. Inside in my heart and in my body, I'm beaming. I'm smiling like there's a ray of sun just kind of coming out of me. But I'm not living up here in the hype of everything that's going on. I'm still just living here in the life that I have. And even in my losses and even in my hard times that are down here, I'm not living down there.
Yeah.
I'm not getting down with it anymore. I'm living here. And I think that's one of the best thing that I have done in my life is just try to live in a balance. Whenever things are great and amazing, enjoy them, take them in, but don't get caught up in them because they're not going to last forever. Yeah. And also, whenever things are bad, don't get caught up on it. It's not going to last forever. Tomorrow's going to be another day. I think, if anything, throughout this year and a half, it has showed us how much things can change in one day. 1 minute we're in the lockdown, 1 minute we're not, 1 minute we can travel, 1 minute we can't. So it's all about trying to just wake up every day and be the best person you can be and be grateful for the things that you have in life. And when I mean that, I don't mean a big house or big cars or plenty of money in the bank. I mean simple stuff, being able to just get up out of your bed, go for a walk down the town, eat food, have a few pounds in your bank to go and get yourself a new pair of runners, or you know what I mean? Just small, simple things like that, and having people in your life that you love and that they love you back. It's simple things in life, and I think that's another thing that lockdown has showed us, that the people that surround you through lockdown, if you can stick with them for a full year and a half, they're worth keeping in your life as well. You know what I mean?
That's very fair.
If you're still together and if you're still friends or partners or whatever it may be, then you should definitely stick together, because that lockdown will test anybody. But now just look, the way that it is, I don't, as I said, look, I don't get caught up in things now, whether it's highs or lows. I'm a happy man regardless if I won fights, lose fights, if things are going well or not going well. I just kind of take everything as a lesson, and I take everything as a learner. You know what I mean? No matter what's thrown at me, I kind of look at it and be like, okay, what's this in my life for? What's it preparing me for? What's it getting me ready for in the future? So yeah, look, I've done a lot of visualization, affirmations, yoga, different things like that, and they have all really, really helped in my career and in my life.
That's very interesting, because and you can see adapt a lot of that to all very regular stuff. Like as you were saying there about controlling your emotions and not getting too high or not getting too low. And I see that I have to do an awful lot of that myself in my regular day-to-day work. I work in recruitment, say, and it's very sales orientated. So some days if you make a lot of money, you'd be on top of the world. You could also not make a lot of money, and it can be really tough. And the ones that really last in those processes are the ones that are doing what you were saying, in being able to control their emotions and not get too high, not get too low, and just concentrate on what they have to do.
But that's like, it's easy now for me to say this.
Yeah.
But it's not easy to just be like, oh, I made a load of money today. Right. Don't get too excited, or,
it's a learning process.
That was a shit one. You know what I mean? It's bit by bit, it's chipping away every day. It just, if you can try to be 1% better every day than you were the day before, just wake up one day and try to be just 1% better than you were yesterday. That's all you have to do, is just try to improve yourself from the day before. And if you can do that, just steadily chip away at things. Don't put things, you can have goals and you can have ambitions, have them and keep them there, but don't keep looking at them every single day, and don't keep kind of comparing yourself to other people. Steadily chip away at things, and steadily just try to become a more happier and more grounded person each day. And that's something that I've been doing, and it's been really working for me.
There's an old expression: how do you eat an elephant? Bit by bit. You can't eat an elephant all at once. You have to just take 100%. Little baby spoons. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's a daft one. It's a daft one. But I was thinking there. But I can relate to you, not by making loads of money like you two guys are making loads of money, but I can relate to you by not getting out of bed. Sometimes I'm like, fuck that, getting out of bed. You said I want to lie on. Especially during the lockdown. I'm sure everybody else could relate to that too. Yeah. And like you're saying, it's not like the Rocky movie where you do a montage and fucking you lift a load of weights and then all of a sudden you're fighting Ivan Drago. It's fucking every day. It's every day. And that's 1% getting better and better and better, which is, I think a lot of people need to hear that. Do you know what I mean? It's not a magical change. Like, you didn't become world champion overnight. It was that 1%, you know?
That's the thing. Like, I see a lot of people that turn around and say, like they tell people, think positive and do this and do that, but you can't just switch it on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't just go away now from this talk and be like, Jason, just wake up every day and try to be 1% happier and go and do it. It doesn't just happen. Like I still have shit days, and I still have times where I doubt myself, and am I ever going to make it? Am I ever going to do this? And am I ever going to be fully happy in life? And the answers are no. Like, nothing's ever guaranteed, and once you start to realize that life isn't perfect and you're not always going to be happy, like, because people look at social media now and look at Instagram and this, that, you never see somebody posting something up, them in tears crying, or them not wanting to get out of their bed. Like, they're posting up them on the beach somewhere, or them on a holiday, or getting new shoes, or getting a brand new car. Right away, you're looking at it thinking, oh, geez, look at them doing so well for themselves. 2 hours before that, they could have been lying crying in their bed.
Yeah. It could be on the hand pump. It could be on the hand pump as well. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I don't know if that would be happy or sad, Pete.
It could be sad. It could be sad. I don't know.
100%. So No, look, I think people just need to understand that nothing's guaranteed, and you just have to go about your life just trying to be the best version you can be every day. Do you know what I mean? And if you have a bad day, that's fine, no problem. Tomorrow's another day. Let's start again. And when you do have a bad day, listen to your feelings, listen to what's wrong, and don't keep blocking them away, or don't keep going on your phone to try and forget about them, or ringing your friends to head out, or start drinking, or just to forget about things. Sometimes just listen. Doesn't matter how bad they are or whatever, because if you keep knocking them away, they're always going to be there. Like, they're always going to creep up again.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to kind of listen to it. And everybody has cracks. Like, everybody has cracks somewhere. But you just have to listen to them sometimes, and they're not going to be pleasant. Like, you're gonna have to turn around sometimes and say, well, maybe you're not such a good person that you think you are, or that you let on you are. And that's fine, because we're not all perfect. We've all done shit that we might be ashamed of, or that we're not proud of, and the quicker that we realize this, the quicker that we can start to become a better person. And I think that's just that's the way that I kind of look at things. That's the way that I kind of roll off things. And that works for me.
And you've developed them tools, the yoga, the meditation, the visualization. They're them tools to try and keep you that 1% every day. They're tools. It's not like
100%.
Yeah.
Like, if you and it's about the people that you're around. It's about the environment that you're in. Like, if you're in an environment of people that are always giving out, or always comparing to somebody else, and always trying to like get this flash car to show it off, or if you're around that environment,
monkey see, monkey do.
Exactly. Those thoughts are being put into your head, and you're around that environment. But if you're around people that are doing meditation, that are doing yoga, you're in a better circle and in a better environment to think more clearly, and to be more mindful and grateful of the small, simple little things we have in life. Because you take lockdown, for example, people sitting with millions in the bank, what were they able to do with it? Nothing.
Yeah.
You people sitting with a big mansion of a house, what were they able to do? Yes, it was nice they were able to stay in that through lockdown, but the amount of bills that would have been coming in for a mansion of a house. You look at the people that are, a big fancy car, they weren't able to drive it nowhere.
Yeah.
But you look at the things, your health, being able to get out and go walking, being able to put food on, be able to put food on the table, come home and sit with people and tell them your problems, and tell them how difficult lockdown is, and them able to listen to you, them able to understand you. Like, that's the important things in life.
Absolutely.
100%. 100%.
It's
go on, Chris.
I was just going to say, it's like we were talking about something very similar with Ray, and it obviously you're both boxers, but he was saying how there is a selfish side to being a boxer. You have to, your body is going to go through a lot. The training's tough, the weight cut's tough. You're trying to control an environment that's almost uncontrollable at times, and injuries are going to happen. And to hear that you're trying to control, like, a lot of it's psychological then, and that's probably the key component to everything in the successful boxer, is being really, really mindful and being able to control your emotions. So to hear that you've really worked on that side is kind of inspiring, because you've actually you clearly understand yourself now, and obviously the hundreds of fights that you had as an amateur has led to this point.
Yeah, and that's why you need good people around you, because you do have to be very selfish, and you're not maybe the nicest person to be around whenever you're training hard, you're cutting weight, you're crabbing, you're angry, you're getting ready to pull the head of some fella in a few weeks' time.
Yeah.
That's where you need people around you that support you and understand you, that are able to just be like, okay, that's him. He's in his mood. He's a fight coming up. Let him be, but also be there if you have a shit day as well. You know, not be just taking the huff and being like, oh, you fucking shit form today. Why are you being like that? Like, you know what I mean? Just be happy. Like, just like, you know, come on, let's go out for a bite of food tonight, or you know, let's go away for a walk. And no, like, I can't eat that food. I'm too tired. I don't want to go for a walk. I've trained twice today already. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's where you need people in your life that understand that. And exactly. And that's like, that's what people don't understand. Like, people think that Jason Quigley, the boxer, gets into the ring and does it, and it's all him. Yeah, it's not all me. Like, it's my partner at home that understands me. It's my coach that understands me. It's Gary Hussey, my psychologist, that understands and listens to me. It's a full team, and it's not just a team of boxing coaches, strength and conditioning coaches, nutritionists. It's a team of anybody that's involved in your life, because everyone plays a massive part.
You're out in America there a couple of years for a couple of years, and you came home, and now you're obviously working with Andy Lee and his stable. He's got, clearly Andy's doing the business. He's picking up a lot of serious boxers there, likes of Joe Parker. He's obviously working with Tyson Fury as well. Like, how have you seen that transition been from obviously being an American, being excited about that, and then wanting to come home, and then being in this stable?
Yeah, like as I said earlier, I'm very much a home bird, and going to Los Angeles was unbelievable. Like, I was a young lad from Donegal heading out to Hollywood and Los Angeles. Like, I was blinded by the lights. You know, the first year and a half, I was like, unbelievable. This place is. I'm never going home. Like, I'm staying here forever. This is quality. Like, but like, after a year and a half, you know, I started to realize that, you know, this isn't home, and you know, the novelty and everything of it wore off, and I didn't just take to it. Like, I didn't take to it. Of course, the weather and everything like that was amazing, but you know, I'm more of a home bird kind of a person.
Just wanted a bit of crack.
Exactly. And
we've all been there. I remember the same feeling in New York after a certain amount of time. I was like, you miss silly stuff, like pubs you never want to be in.
Just the worst rundown places, you miss them. Like,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Because that's home. Like, that's where you're from. That's where you have those emotional attachments to. But yeah, like, no, I came then and teamed up with Andy Lee, and you know, it was a mixture of everything. It was a mixture of Andy being so understandable and being in positions that I was in my career, me and him having a lot of similarities, being closer to home, training in Dublin, being able to go home at weekends, you know, 2.5, 3 hour drive up the road, and you're back home in your comfort zone, and you know, then you're back out, then you're switched on, you're back in Dublin, you're in camp. You know, it was a mixture of everything that really gelled together and really helped me become the person that I am now today.
Did you spend a bit of time in the UK training when you first came back, did you?
I did. I was in the Engel gym in Sheffield for about a year and a half as well.
Yeah.
And at the start, it was great as well, because I was closer to home and I was flying over and back every now and then. I thought this was great. And then after a while, then I was like, still not right. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's still not hitting home. And I finally made the decision then to move back home, and it's worked a treat so far.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's an expression too. You have to go away to come back. Do you know what I mean? You went away. You seen the bright lights. You probably played holy fuck over in Las Vegas, and then you came back and you realized it's like Frodo in fucking Lord of the Rings and Sam. You know, he goes off this journey, and then he comes back to the Shire, and he's like, "This place isn't too bad." Like,
100%, 100%. Like, because I'd never really, of course, I've traveled around the world with the boxing and stuff like that, but I've never really lived away from home. And you know, geez, as a young fella, you want to spread your wings, you want to get away, and you want to just get out there and see the world. And yeah, I was going to no better place but LA, like,
Yeah.
I was so excited, and it was a great experience. It was an amazing time, but as I says, it'll always be a place that means a lot to me still, but it'll never be home.
No, absolutely not. Who are the staple of boxers that Andy's training? Like, who's been the most impressive that you've been training with?
Well, we have obviously, he's been in with Tyson. He has Joseph Parker. He has Paddy Donovan there now as well, who's a very exciting prospect that's coming through. No, look, there's a great stable there. Everything's going great. If we just all keep working hard, keep working together as a team, and there'll be some serious champions coming out of that stable, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Like Joseph Parker's, he looked really good in his last fight with Chisora, even though he had a rough first round.
Yeah, look, Joseph he's a former heavyweight champion of the world. Like, you can't get much better than that. Joseph is an absolute gentleman of a fella as well. He's such a likable, good-hearted, nice person. And me and Joseph kicked it off right from the off. You know what I mean? We're best of buddies already, like, and we've only known each other, so that's great. And that obviously helps too. Having chemistry with the people that you're training with is vital as well to breed success.
Absolutely.
Was it a bit of a shock? I just read there before we came on that Andy Lee couldn't be in your corner. There was some visa issue or something. Was that a bit of a was that a bit like fuck? Do you know what I mean? At one point,
that's exactly the emotion that came out of it. Fuck. Yeah. Like, it was like, what am I going to do now? Like, you know what I mean? Because like me and Andy had been working together for 2 years. You know what I mean? And we've been steadily gelling and growing together, and we had a long training camp for this fight, working on things. And he knows me best, like what I can do in the ring. He's been seeing it in the gym, and to have him not there, it was sickening, of course, but it was at a stage where there was no other option but to what's the best move now? Like, how do we make this bad situation an okay situation? And we put our two heads together, and I was good friends with Wayne McCulloch over in he lives in Las Vegas as well, so I was good friends with him, and we made it work. We got in touch with Wayne, and they had a good
it's handy to have like an Irish hero on speed dial.
That's ideal. Without a doubt, But fair play to Andy and Wayne too for coming together and working on it. Coming back and forth with each other. Telling each other. Well, Andy telling Wayne what I've been working on, and what's the kind of game plan for the fight, and Wayne being able to take it on board, because you can get a lot of coaches out there that are have big egos and stubborn, and wouldn't really like to
they're where the highway kind of way.
Aye, you know what I mean? So, I have to credit the two lads and thank them very much, for coming together and working so well together for this fight for me.
It must, in some ways, that like there has to be a part of you that goes, like, he's the son of Shane Mosely. Like Sugar Shane was in, like, talk about wealth of experience. Like Wayne McCulloch is a wealth of experience, and obviously Andy has a wealth of experience. But Shane Mosely has been in there with Floyd. Like, he beat Margarito. He a bunch of other greats of that time as well in the hardest division.
Was that intimidating? Was it
Must
intimidating?
have been a bit of intimidation in that. Like,
to be honest, I've got asked this question from Conor Benn. Conor Benn is obviously the son of Nigel Benn.
Yeah.
He asked me this question before the fight. He says, "Do you feel intimidated, like, by the father's presence?" And I was like, "No, because it's not the father that I'm fighting. Like, son, the son is the son, and there's very few sons come away better than their father." Like,
say Conor was delighted to hear that.
He kind of looked at me and was like, but it was but no, like it honestly didn't faze me because it only kind of fazed me whenever the decision was being called out and I thought it was a favoritism or something along those lines. But in terms of anything else, no, because I knew he wasn't his father, like, and you know what I mean. And funny story, about 4.5, 5 years ago, I actually sparred both of them in the one day.
Wow.
I did about six rounds with the father, and I did about 2 rounds with the son, Junior. And I couldn't even remember sparring Junior because at that time I was just thinking, oh, I'm sparring Shane Mosely Sr. This is unbelievable.
Well, believe it.
Yeah. So I sparred the 2 of them in the one day back. Well, it must have been 5-6 years ago when I was living in LA. And look, they're 2 lovely fellas, and Shane's a lovely fella as well. You know, I have a lot of good time for Shane and both of them. And yeah, look, it's the fight game, you know what I mean? Your friends, you get in, you take care of business, and you shake his hand after it as well, and just hope that both of us can go back to our families safe and healthy.
And in fairness to Shane, like they've always come across, like Shane Senior. Obviously, I haven't seen that much of Shane Junior, but like he always came across as an absolute gent, you know. And it's comparison to obviously what's going on with Floyd Mayweather and that gobshite Logan Paul. Like you take that into context of that's going to be one of the biggest fights of the year, and is it a bit of a sickener? Like,
look, people have asked me this question, you know what I mean, but I have to hand it to Logan Paul and his brother. Like, the 2 men are making absolute fortune for themselves. They're getting in there. They're bypassing like 99% of fighters and going straight to the top, pay-per-view, millions of money against the best fighter in the world. I have to take my hat off to them. Like, fair play to them. Like, they're living their life and they're doing what they can to get by, and they're getting by pretty flush with it. You know what I mean?
Oh, they won't be short anyway.
Definitely not. But the thing about it is, they're bringing, you know, I always try to look at the positive side of things. They're bringing a whole new audience to boxing as well, which is going to eventually end up generating more money for the rest of the fighters. And if you're a fighter that gets on the same card, even as them guys, you're going to get paid even more. So, you know, in a roundabout way, it is going to help boxing. And hey, see the people that's talking shit about it. They'll be the people that's paying the pay-per-view as well at the weekend to watch it.
Like it is fascinating because there is a huge size difference. There's a physical difference, and boxing, like, you could just land one punch, it could clip him.
Exactly. Look,
that is that fear. But you'd imagine that the way Mayweather's set up.
I seen him hitting the bag there today, and he's brutal. Like, he is brutal. But it's his size. It's his.
But the brother, you just don't sugarcoat it. Like, don't sugarcoat it.
Well, like, for a lad, the reason I'm saying he's brutal is because he's getting in with one of the best that ever done it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, he's brutal compared to Mayweather. Like, and I can see Mayweather end up stopping him. Like, you know, I really can see Mayweather but in real life, but is this real life? Is it going to be scripted? Is there going to be a knockdown? Like, you know what I mean? Is it going to go these ways?
That's the thing that you'd be worried about with something like this, because it isn't like there's a belt on the line and there's a commission that's actually going to actually give a shit. It's Florida at the end of the day. Crazy stuff happens down there.
You will see a very similar fight to the Conor McGregor fight, you know, because Mayweather will just suss him out and tire him out by feinting and pressuring him and, you know, doing different things. And then I can see Mayweather putting it on him a little bit later on. You know, putting on him a bit of a show.
He's tired, yeah.
Exactly. If it's real life.
Yeah. It's a mad one. Like, I suppose when it comes to something like this, as you said, it can have a positive effect on certain boxers that are going to make more money from being on the undercards. But even up to there's a prestige with it. I look at it from a point of view that boxing needs to pull back their fans that have kind of gone into UFC and kind of gone, because UFC just fight, they kind of match up the best fighters in each division. And you're looking at what's happened recently with Joshua and Fury, and you bang your head off the wall. Like the Wilder fight is done. Like out of the 20 something rounds or whatever, 18 rounds that was done. Like Fury is by far the better boxer, and he's going to win another fight against Wilder unless Wilder clips him, like, you know. So
yeah,
like the fight.
That's the frustration. That's the frustration for the fans. Yeah. Sorry for cutting over you there, Chris.
No,
that's the frustration for the fans.
Yeah.
It's like the Pacquiao Mayweather. They never fought as well. It was kind of like, when are they going to fight? It was just like, everybody was like, fuck, we want to fucking be around the fucking TV at fucking 4 o'clock in the morning, fucking eating biscuits going, you know, the big fights back in the day, like, you know.
When they did fight, it was 4 years after the fight should have been made.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly, and it had wore off, and you know, the excitement of it had worn off, and it was just like, bleh.
Yeah,
you know, and it's going to be the same with Fury and Wilder, or Fury and Joshua. If it doesn't get made after this fight, you know, things need to start happening quickly.
Yeah.
So, for going back to yourself and your next step, I know you've talked about Bobo Andrade. Obviously, that you feel like that's the fight to make next. Is there anyone else that's in your crosshairs now?
There's nobody else. Bobo Demetrius Andrade is the fight to make. You know what I mean? Demetrius is a great fighter. There'll be no, like, I'll never shit talk about him or trash talk about him. He is a great fighter. I think he definitely does deserve a shot at the likes of Canelo or Triple G or anything like that, but they seem to be avoiding him, and he seems to be crying about people not wanting to fight him. So here's me. I'm ready. I'm willing. I'm not going to shit talk about him or say anything like that there, but I'm going to get in there and I'm going to give him one hell of a fight. And I think that fight has to happen. It should happen. The people want to see it. You know, it's got a lot of momentum. It's got a lot of excitement talked about it. And he's from the East Coast of America. And we all know the amount of Irish in Boston and New York. And that'd be one hell of a fight. It would sell out any arena. The atmosphere would be unbelievable, especially after the year and a half that everyone has had. And now people can get back into the stadiums. People can get back supporting people, roaring, shouting, having the crack again. And I think that's a fight that has to be made, and it should be made definitely in the very near future.
And when you win that fight, Canelo?
Without a doubt, bring him on.
Love it.
He might look more Irish than me, but we'll soon see come fight night.
I'll ask. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I'll ask one more question. I will let you go, Jason, because I know you're busy. You probably have a lot of media onto you. I asked this question.
Media like us.
Media like us, yeah. Get a lad that's doing a charity run to jump in the middle, or charity cycle in the middle. But I asked this to everyone that would come on. Have you any advice for a young fella out there that's doing boxing, or any advice that for a young fella that maybe did boxing and he wants to get back into boxing, he's let it go, or even any advice to a young person out there at all? You kind of said it there in the middle, but any advice to a young fella coming up the ranks?
Yeah,
how would he get?
Just advice for any young fella, you know, is just go with your gut instinct. You know what I mean? Don't be trying to please your parents, or don't be trying to please a teacher or a coach or anything along those lines. You know, go out there and do what makes you feel happy, because whatever you do and whatever makes you feel happy and you're doing it, you're always going to give it that extra percent. You're always going to give it that extra push, that extra drive, and you're always going to end up being successful at it, because you're going to do whatever it takes to become successful, because you want to be successful, but most importantly, because you enjoy what you do. And you know, that's the bit of advice that I have to give out there, is because, you know, there's a lot of kids growing up, and there's a lot of kids just looking for the attention of, you know, adults and their peers and different things along those lines. listen to your own gut instinct, enjoy what you do, what makes you happy, what you love to do, what you're excited to go doing. Keep doing that, and it doesn't matter what it is, it doesn't matter what people say, you'll always be successful at that.
That's brilliant.
Great advice.
It's brilliant advice.
Good advice to get someone that has a WBO belt now, in fairness. Well,
good stuff.
I think I heard you say there, Leslie, that you kind of walked out of the ring and you actually noticed that it was the proper WBO belt. The full,
so the actual belt that I won got lost in FedEx, so it didn't come to the thing in time. So they had a world title WBO belt in Vegas or whatever. So they actually got that one into the ring and everything just for the photos and be a shit show if they didn't have a belt. Me winning the belt, and they didn't even have it to present me with anything after the fight. So they had that there. I didn't realize, obviously, in the ring, and put it on me. And I got back and I looked down. I was like, "That's his world. That's his world champion." I says, "Get me on the plane."
Well, no, I was gonna say you were quick to the airport anyway, but like
exactly. I says, I'm holding on to this. I'm holding on to this now, but. No, maybe it's a sign of things to come.
100%. We absolutely believe so anyway. And look, thank you so much for coming on the podcast with us, mate. And obviously we'll be looking for a follow-up when you get the Andrade fight and have that full strap on your waist. Is he gone?
He's gone. He must be gone.
He disappeared.
Well, listen, we want to thank Jason there because that was a great podcast. Very insightful, wasn't it? I really enjoyed it. Brilliant. And it was beautiful. What did you think, Chris?
He's an absolute gent. And to be honest, like boxing, kind of like UFC and these and fight, like I love boxing. I've always loved boxing.
Yeah. Since
I was a kid. But it's kind of been swallowed up, like fighters like Jason or whatever, they kind of have gotten swallowed up in this kind of, you have to make the pre-fight. Some people live for the pre-fight more, and all this fucking crack, this
hype,
crack.
Isn't the trash talk? Yeah. It kind of gets in the way of the actual fighting. I think.
And it's nice to see someone that's humble and just has a singularity goal in their mind and wants to go out and achieve it. Like, he has been a top prospect boxer for Ireland for a long time now. He won the silver medal at the World Championships. He was obviously touted to go to was it Brazil when before he turned professional. Just before that, he actually didn't go to the Olympics or didn't do the Olympic trials. But an absolute gent, and it's great to see someone from Ballybuffet go out onto the world scene and become
and grounded and humbled. Humble.
And come home and fucking say, "This is my base. This is my home."
Yeah, exactly.
It would almost remind you of Kazaki. The
way he
moved away from home and went out there and started beating the best. Like, that's where we hope to see Jason do the same. What do you think yourself, mate?
I know. I thought it was brilliant, and I thought it was very interesting how I'm into. You formulate questions as he's talking, but you don't want to talk over somebody. Do you know what I mean? While he's talking, but like. It kind of ties into the stuff we're talking about in our Agony Uncles podcast as well, where Jason's back on again. Is he?
He's back. Or is he gone?
He's gone. Is he?
I don't know what's going on here. Yeah.
But it kind of ties into the Agony Uncles, where don't let the outcome affect your own self-esteem.
Yeah.
You're going to be like this. You do the things in your life to make things, you level out, you know what I mean? And have that way of thinking, have your meditation, have your exercise, have your people around you, and you have this level of contentment in your life, regardless of whatever happens. You know what I mean? And I think that's a great message.
Oh, absolutely. Like, you will be so much happier and so much more content if you concentrate on the stuff you can control and you can control your own emotions. Like, and we all lose the canopy. We all lose the lot. But it's so important, and the fruits of his labor might have been last Sunday morning, flying back to Ireland, but all that hard work that led up to it, he can't forget that. His
Yeah,
family,
yeah.
and his family are there along the way, and
Yeah,
it's very easy for us to have him on a podcast after he's won.
100%. Yeah,
We did contact him back in January, and this has been a couple of months in the workings. It just hasn't happened. So for it to happen just after he's won the WBO NABO title is great. Genuinely delighted. But like I think we have a good understanding that all the hard work came the months and years beforehand.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing with social media now as well. People think because there's overnight successes with social media and internet and .com booms back in the day, do you know what I mean? That you could be an overnight success, but there's an expression, an overnight success takes like 10, 20 years to become an overnight success.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the truth. That's the truth, you know?
And it's great that type of consistency that he's had in his training camp, and obviously getting his mind right and getting his body right, and then going out and putting in the performance that he did on early Sunday morning Irish time it's brilliant to watch. It is class, and he's a world-class athlete in our backyard. It's great.
Yeah. And I would say to anybody that's watching this or listening to this podcast, check out the fight, because it was
a banger.
It was tight. It was tight in the early rounds, and then he pulled away. And he said he started boxing on the outside. It was a range of different styles. You know what I mean?
He showed his range. He could show that he could sit with him in the pocket. He could actually move around the ring.
It was almost like a musician doing riffs. Do you know what I mean? It was like, okay, I'll do a few steady riffs or tunes here now, and then I'll do fucking the elaborate stuff. Do you know what I mean? That's what it was like. Or it was like an artist fucking drawing pictures, or you know what I'm saying? It was.
And as he said, it was about flow and being in that flow. And an artist can be in that flow. Or, you know, we could have a podcast that we get into this synchronized way of going back and forth. It feels effortless. That can also go against us, you know. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, and that in itself, like it was. Look, I said, delighted to have Jason on, and we're really looking forward to seeing what he does next. Basically,
exactly, and he's a gentleman.
Absolute gentleman. But guys, thank you so much for watching the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. When you get a chance, give Jason a follow on Instagram. Again, he does have some entertaining stuff there when he's in training and stuff like that. And follow him and watch his fights. And obviously to all our Patreon members, thank you so much for your support, and the subscribers. So if you get a chance, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. If you can, become a Patreon member and throw us a few quid a month to make the podcast that bit better. Please do that. And
we're working on trying to improve the quality all the time, guys. So thanks very much for everybody supporting. And thanks for messaging the Patreon page. We read the messages and we get back to them, and they're great crack.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they were giving me a bit of jip for did I pay the 800 quid for the matchmaker episode? So I didn't. Surprisingly.
That's right. Yeah, did you join the matchmakers? But there's still time, Chris. There's still time.
I might do that. I'm very unlikely to do it. But yeah, so for 5 dates, still getting over that 800 quid. Don't know, enough for me.
Yeah.
And wasted enough money on women. Ho.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, look, please subscribe. Thanks a lot, and we'll chat to you soon.
Good stuff, guys. Take it easy.